Because I have to push one more button.
All right, hey everybody. This is the continuation of two of part one. This is part two.
Part 2 of 2.
COVID-19 2020. Yeah, that's right. All right, check it out. So, a point that I wanted to bring up was this whole, the COVID. We're trying to reduce, flatten the curve. We're worried about people dying and shit. But in reality, before they even did this shit, did we really care about people dying?
Damn.
Because really, all right, I'm gonna give you a number. I'm gonna give you a fucking number right now. I wrote this fucking. I looked on the CDC website. Where is it at? All right. Really? That many? Okay. So check it out. We're worried about 100,000 deaths within a year, right?
Well, millions, but yeah. I think...
No, not millions. They said like 1 million at best, but they were really worried about 100,000 deaths within the first few months, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that this was a thing when pools, there's 400,000 people that die from pools a year? 30,000 a month.
I don't think that number's right.
No, it is, because I looked it up on the CDC. In the year 2017, 400 and something, 35, I can't remember the number, 400,000 people died pools. Not just like a new thing. That was just in that one article. Pools. Just died in pools. Like, oh, I fell in the pool, or oh, I hit my head. Pool-related deaths. Let's go with that. However it is, pools were the cause. 30,000 people a month if you do the math. What the fuck? If you really cared about people dying, why is a pool still around? I didn't even go to vehicle manslaughter, like vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way more fucking deaths. If you're really worried about the 100,000 people that could die within this year or within the next 3 months,
well, okay,
that's like three pools. That's 3 pools.
Yeah. But we have an infrastructure already ready for that kind of thing. Yeah, it sucks that people die from that. People are going to die from a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we do that people die from. We're not going to stop all of that. The idea here was we would not be ready for an influx of patients, at the levels that were predicted. That's why they did this whole flattening the curve thing, because we weren't going to be ready for it. The hospitals were going to be triaging people on the street, trying to choose who lives and who dies. Hence, flatten the curve. That way it never hits that peak point where you're actually going to have more deaths because you're not able to treat everybody.
Yeah, at this point, I'm thinking of ways to counter your argument, but you are correct, and I am not. You're right. I mean,
well, the argument is just. I mean, I get where it's coming from, but again,
but it really no. There's only one counter argument that works, and this is what you said. The hospitals couldn't handle the influx of people dying. We're used to the 30,000 people dying a month.
Yeah.
Pool-related deaths. We're not the influx of people who think they're sick or not, and then the hospitals couldn't handle. So more people would die. It'd be a domino effect. I can't get my heart attack fucking fixed because there's fucking way more people in the hospital, doing their thing. And so you defeated my main argument.
The risk to professionals too, because this isn't like a...
Yeah, you can't. You just have a doctor. Hey, they're so easily trainable. You don't want to lose all your doctors.
Well, there's that. You can't just just train a bunch of doctors to handle it. I mean, it takes it's a process, but also a problem that we started running into during this in places that were hit the hardest, where you have this many medical professionals, but that number wasn't consistent because they were getting sick and having to leave work. So your number of resources were actually going down in terms
of resource management.
No, it's just like, if let's say you have a hospital with 100 people and 25 of them get sick and can't come to work anymore.
I hear you. It's resource management.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't have the resources to handle anything really, because COVID would take precedence over all the other deaths. It's much like, that's pretty good. That's why you're the smart one ever. You really elevate the podcast, because if this was me on the tirade, I was going to use that to break LGBTQ. But you, with your fucking argument, That was really good. That was well poignant. I mean, like, no, you're right. Shit. Well, yeah. Do you care about more meth? Fuck, I can't. I got nothing. You just blew apart so many of my little things I was gonna say. But we could still go. Let's see if we can. Okay, fuck. I'm done with COVID-19 at that point. I mean, like, we've covered conspiracy. Do you really think they're doing this for? You think this is a conspiracy? The governors are really trying to make it so Trump doesn't become president. You think this is what they're doing?
No,
Okay.
because even Republican governors were kind of, pushing back, but I think even they started to see where the way that their bases were going.
Yeah, I get you.
I think a lot of this is just cover your ass.
Yeah.
We're in a shitty situation. I think I hadn't really thought about it as much until we started talking about it. I think after this, stay at home time, we're gonna need another one.
You know what though?
But I don't think we're gonna be able to do it.
Exactly. I was thinking that too. And like, imagine, say, okay, fuck COVID-19. Say something else comes out that actually does kill a lot of people. I don't think we'll be able to enforce the sacrifice thing, I mean, no, we're fucking done. This was the test. We failed.
What's already started in that one state where their own state said that this was unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Told everybody to go back to normal. Yeah. Well, they didn't tell people to go back to normal, but they also didn't replace it with something else to keep people safe. But that's not the job of the courts.
Yeah.
That was something that people were bitching about. I'm like, that's not the court's job. The court's job is to tell you, hey, what you're doing right now, not good. You can't do that per the rules.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, right? We got to make rules to help.
Up to the government to.
You're right. You actually talked about that earlier in the last podcast about how we not the part 1 podcast.
Yeah.
But in COVID-19 2020 part 1, you said that we should make it in place a law, but like what happens is probably be the opposite. We can't do that, law-wise.
Probably, yeah, we probably won't be able to do it.
We're fucked, dude. Seriously, because like, not we're fucked as in, like, I don't know, man. Like, if they try to impose, like, if a disease really does come out, like COVID-19 is nothing. There's actual shit out there that will get us. And once it crosses over from animal to person, we're fucking done. And like, you'll have like contagion, man. Fucking a 1-day turnaround. We all start dying left and right. Imagine them telling us, hey, yeah, you guys have to stay. They're going to remember this time and be like, nope, I'm going to go and get my hair cut.
I want my hair cut, but, 1, my barber's not open. 2, even if they were open, I'd want to know what kind of precautions they were taking.
Well, they're doing stages now. Your governor and mine, or they're both doing stages. That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, we're in phase 2. I think haircuts are phase 4. I mean, who knows, right? But
like, the information was so weak and to get out there, because like, I'm not seeing, like, you and me just hammered out a lot of points. It made me stronger. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have it all down now, and you too, of course. You're well informed, I have to say. But most people I hear, most people I talk to, they're not well informed. They're just going based off of feelings and or whatever the fuck side they're on.
I respect everybody, that wants to preserve their civil liberties, that wants to go out. I want to go out, I want to be in crowds. I want to take my girl out somewhere nice to eat. I miss that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the sacrifice that needs to be made, and I get it. My only thing is, the people that are going to make the decision to put other people at risk. Okay, I mean, it actually is their right to do it. The way it's set up now, the way the laws are set up right now and everything, civil liberties, yada, 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 they have the right to do that. I just hope that they also have, the honesty to take responsibility for that later if it turns out that that was a part of the problem.
Yeah.
If this thing goes back up, they need to be able to say, you know what, we fucked up. And then that way, when legislators say, hey, you know what, okay, we need to amend our constitution so we can have a stay-at-home order if it's going to threaten this number of the population, or if it's this size of a threat or whatever, they'll vote their conscience and they'll vote responsibly. Maybe not in their own personal best interest, but in the interest of the country.
Yeah, I think if COVID-19 really did kill more people, and that's where you go to, well, see, if we haven't had the stay-at-home order, and that will be debated for fucking centuries to come. It feels like if it truly did kill a bunch of people and we didn't close, they should have just kept it open, just let people die.
Well, okay, think about it this way. What if we had gotten actionable intel that these dudes were gonna hijack 4 planes, and crash them into government buildings and structures and our center of capitalism?
Depending on what YouTube video you've been watching, right, we already knew that.
Would we have been willing to give up our civil liberties to the level that we did immediately after 9/11?
No, we probably wouldn't have.
And so
we needed a 9/11 then.
So that's one where we felt that punch, and we saw, we had to lose, almost 3,000 lives to go, oh shit, let's close everything down. And just, okay, Patriot Act, go for it. Yeah, spy on everybody. I don't give a shit. We need to be safe. People were willing to give up those civil liberties to that level.
And now people are like trying to fight to get it back.
So right now, do we need that many people to die from COVID for us to say, okay, yeah, you know what, maybe we should have stayed home? But that's one of those cases where the cat's out of the bag, and Pandora's box is open and it's out there and it's everywhere, and we're still not.
You know what? We're trying to fight to get our shit back. So I mean, maybe we should just let people die. I mean, like, okay, let's fast forward the thought. You let people die, okay?
I don't want to die.
I hear you, but hey, so you let people die, right? We don't trample civil liberties. We still have them. In years to come, we're not fighting for them again. People just die. Reverse that. Say we trample on, like Patriot Act, we create the COVID Act. And that's what we do. We stop that shit, and then we can stay at home orders forever and ever. 10 years from now, 9/11, 20 years from now, we could then start fighting. Maybe Edward Fireball is like, hey, look, this is what the government's doing to, this is what, and then he goes to some other fucking country to hide, and now we're fighting to try to create the stop of, not the Patriot Act, but the COVID Act.
Yeah.
I mean, like, rinse and repeat. So in one president's, this fucking word, we know from past to now what will happen if we trample civil liberties for the Patriot Act and how it will be abused. Snowden. I don't know. What do you want? What are you thinking? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. This is us seeing 9/11 coming and working against it ahead of time, but a lot of people pushing back because they don't want to give up those rights because it hasn't affected them at that level yet. The other thing is, the only way to know that what we're doing is working is to go back in time and not have done this to be able to compare. There's no way to do this experiment and have a control because you need 2 experiments going at the same time.
Yeah, because if Patriot Act didn't we don't know what happens if Patriot Act wasn't enacted.
Right. So, we don't know. We probably would have had a bunch of other 9/11s. If we had kept airport security the exact same way as it was before, we still can't carry more than, a few ounces of liquid on a plane.
It's true. I am toothpaste.
All of that is still in effect. But because we know what can happen if we don't do that stuff, right?
Well, we also know the abuse of power, like with the Patriot Act.
Patriot Act, yeah.
Like, and this is like just one more power that's even stronger than. So Patriot Act, they're just listening to you. That's it, all the time. They're fucking. Someone's abusing their power right now. They're watching Ever do whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's what they're doing. That's period. It's being recorded and it can be used against you later on. Whatever. Got it. So that sucks. Whatever. Now, this is a different kind of thing. This is a stronger power. Now, I can get past, them recording me and whatever the fuck and using that against me if they need to. I get it. That sucks, but I get it. But this is a different power. This COVID Act, if they fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep you in a fucking building. So what are we doing here? are we willing to give that up? Is this what's better? You know, like them listening to you or this?
That's a big decision, man. That takes a lot of people talking about it.
What do
And
you think? No, your point of view. What do you think? You want to be trapped? Just like they abuse the Patriot Act, they will abuse this.
that's a slippery slope, man.
But do you want them to have this power?
I don't.
So you're willing for people to die? I'm not trying to bake you into a corner.
I know.
I'm
No,
all about death.
It's a shitty situation, because it's like, on the one hand, you want to empower the government to be able to make the decision that's in the people's best interest, but at the same time, there's a potential for abuse, and our Constitution is written with all kinds of compromises with that in mind, you know. And this is going to be another one where, you know, I don't have a good solution, but maybe listening to other people and bouncing ideas around.
And see that this is where it comes back to how the Republicans like how their philosophy way of thinking, you know, pull yourself from the bootstrap and every man for themselves kind of thing. You know, with the you know, fuck universal health care kind of bullshit talk.
Just bullshit. All that's bullshit.
Yeah. Now
they're always looking for handouts.
But this take it further, you know, like, okay, so get rid of the Patriot Act. Let 9/11s happen left and right. I don't think we should. I mean, we should just be in a reality of people die. You know, okay, so World War II happens, right? We don't go into it. We let them attack us. We knew it was going to happen. They could attack us, and they did. And then we won that fucking war. And that's how it is. I mean, that's how good guys win. They're the ones who don't start the shit. They wear the white hats and shit. And sometimes it just sucks to be a good guy. So really, what this is a crisis of faith, or a crisis of who we are as a people. I think we should be the people who suffer. Like, I'm just saying, like, in the sense, for good freedom. I mean, let the 9/11s happen. Let the diseases run right through us. Let the North Koreans shoot the missiles at us and hit us to start. And then it's not all at once. We will take it and we'll move forward. But right now,
I wouldn't put it that way.
Well, of course not.
I would say that, you know, for us to have real change where we come together and sit down and decide what really needs to be done, sometimes we need a catalyst, you know? And so
you're proving my point.
We don't want it to happen. Yeah. It's I'm hearing you, but it's just, I could see, you know, like if people heard that, they say, oh, you want 9/11 to happen? Oh, you want, you know, a lot of people, that's not that. That's not that. It's just sometimes we do need a catalyst to bring everybody together and say, you know what, this is a fucking huge ass problem. Let's figure it out.
I agree. And that's people aren't real. And that's the problem. That's why this whole woke movement moved the way it was. The people don't want to understand the reality of things. Sometimes if you want what you want and what needs to be are two different things. You can't have it both ways. Like you can't give your kids sugar all the time. They have to have it once in a while. And then the kid's like, fuck you, you know, I hope not. But like, you know, you get the analogy. And sometimes we don't want a 9/11. But when it does happen, we rise to the occasion and attack Iraq. It has nothing to do with it.
We don't want, I mean, our civil liberties should be, hey, I should be able to go do what I want when I want, right? What do you mean I got to be at work by 8? You know,
exactly.
You're infringing my civil liberties, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
But what would happen if you didn't make that sacrifice? If you didn't sacrifice your time to go and do those things called work, what would happen? You'd end up on the street.
Exactly.
You would get a new phone. You would
I agree.
A new purse. You know, and so when people are in that situation where they can't do shit or buy shit, or they're at risk of living on the street, it wakes them up and, you know, kicks them into gear to do something about it. Again, there's usually fallbacks, right? There's usually somebody else that can help you, you know, friends, family, the government. But who bails out the government, man?
Exactly. That's why I think, like I said, I'm not straying away from that. I'm saying, hey, man, fuck it. We should let the viruses run right through us.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. I wouldn't want that to happen. I think.
No, I wouldn't want it either. I'm just saying, when it was go time to make the decision to close us, we're like, look, this is what the reality is. You don't want us to fucking do this. If we close, just like the Patriot Act, When we did that shit, we had abuse of power. They don't want to admit that.
And here's the problem.
This is an abuse of power, and it's going to grow. It's just going to grow.
Here's the problem. People don't want to listen to scientists because scientists speak like scientists. Scientists aren't looking for truth. They're looking for the best possible explanation for what we see around us, as different phenomena. So, when they're up there talking and it sounds like doublespeak, it's not that. They're qualifying their statements. They're saying, hey, there is the possibility for this. Based on models and our best predictions, it looks like this might happen. And so we should do this as a response. But again, to prognosticate, that's still not what a scientist is supposed to do. It's not even called, you can't even call it a theory, really. You can call it a hypothesis. Hey, if this and this and this happens, we think this will happen. But we don't want that to happen, so let's do something else instead. And people don't like that. People want to know, what is going to happen? What is the magnitude of this? Tell us right now. But the thing is, we don't know. Well, what happened in 1918? This ain't fucking 1918. The world is a much smaller place. The variables are completely different now. So you can't treat that as a similar experiment because it's not the same.
Fucking Eber for president, dude. You're fucking right, dude. No, I agree. I mean, and there's no way to really so how, man, I like how you think and I like how I think. I'm like, let's just tell people the truth. That's not going to work. If you told people, hey, look, everyone's going to die. Not everyone. A lot of people are going to die. That's just the way it is. If we fucking start keeping people in houses, this is going to get worse. They don't want to hear that. But they want to hear, and it sucks because that's how we have two parties now. And you have to appease like one or the other.
So we're Americans, man. Again, if it comes to it where everybody's civil liberties argument wins out and they decide to go back to normal, like all those fucking idiots decided to go back to that bar, and be this close to random ass strangers.
Oh, hey man, dude, you ain't gonna get an argument out of me.
It's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. There's a possibility of it happening, that this thing is gonna wash through the country, kill a bunch of people. Again, I will have had my position where I thought people should have made that sacrifice, and after the fact, it'll be I told you so time, and it'll be, the people that were talking about this, they weren't talking out of their ass. And now that we got this thing coming again, maybe we should do that thing this time, So I'm hoping that whatever mistakes we made or we're going to make as well, we'll be able to learn from them. And the next time this thing comes up, people will be willing to make the sacrifice, but
that's not happening, dude.
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple months.
Dude, man, sometimes you see people, I mean, I don't know. I like to just make the decision just how I sees it. How people are now, and usually I'm right. I mean, I'm cynical. I could see people fucking, once again, this shit comes up like, no way, Jose. We gave you a month. You took 3. And then they're gonna fucking.
A lot of people are right now.
Yeah, you take your fucking guns at the Capitol. That shit ain't working. Start shooting people.
And that's why I'm kind of if it happens, it's gonna happen. If people are going to argue on behalf of civil liberties and it's legal, it is legal. But if they're gonna decide to do that, then we're gonna have to live in a society where that happened, and now we need to respond to it.
I think what should have been is this. Hey, look, people, we're not telling you to do it, but it'd be better for everybody if you guys just stayed home. And then, because right now it's like an order. They should never have made it a thing. So if you thought in your Republican, maybe whatever brain you got, and you thought, fuck it, I think this is bullshit, and you're walking around, that's on that guy. And then the other person who didn't stay in their home as well said, you know what, I think this is crazy. So that they could just give it to each other, Meanwhile, other people who were listening to what the recommendation was, they will.
Now, there is a precedence for
it's a fucking word of the day.
Population, like controlling the decisions that we make, right?
Yeah.
Red lights, green lights, speed limits, you know, hell, even driving on the right side of the road. All of that comes from safety, and it's all been legislated, and put into practice. Because we know what can happen if we don't have that. There's there's old recordings of kids like playing in the street between cars and shit, and the cars, if they hit somebody, well, guess what? You shouldn't have been playing in the street. It was more a common sense thing back then. We had to be told to drive under certain speeds and to drive on certain sides of the road, to respect certain types of signs and lights and shit like that. A COVID act, and I haven't heard that phrase. Maybe we coined it here. I don't know.
I do think that. I really, when I said it, I was like, well, because you had the Patriot. I was like, what the fuck do you call it? Then?
I think a COVID act could work from that basis where, based on science and based on public safety, we could tell people, and legislate gatherings below a certain amount, people being spaced a certain amount, businesses only allowing, a certain number of people per square footage of space that they have, or per seating space that they have, or whatever. I think we would have, a precedent in terms of, traffic laws, because, hey, no, fuck you, I get to, pursue my happiness at 90 miles an hour. Why are you saying I can't go 90 miles an hour? Well, because, tires have certain speed ratings. People scientifically have certain reaction times. Cars become unstable at certain speeds depending on the aerodynamics of the car. There's all kinds of scientific arguments against it. Nobody wants to drive the fucking speed limit. Nobody does. Nobody drives the speed limit. Everybody drives above it, right? But they're making the choice. And there's also repercussions for that choice, because if you choose to drive on poor tires or above the speed limit and you cause an accident, you're liable 100%. It's almost like there's no argument. It's like, yeah, but that other guy braked in front of me. Yeah, but you were going 80.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that other guy cut me off. Yeah, but you were going 80. Oh, I didn't brake in time. Yeah, well, your tires were worn below, that eighth of an inch or whatever threshold. You're at fault. Insurance companies go out and measure your tires, to see what your tire wear was at. And if your tire wear is below, you're automatically at fault.
That's a trick, because no trick. That's not a trick, but it's tricky and very complicated. I've just now figured between differentiating a safety such as like the mileage per hour, stop signs, shit like that, and then forcibly keeping people at home and reducing gatherings and shit. And people could do that anyways. I see what you're saying.
I don't think you'd be able to force people to stay at home.
Yeah, you could.
It would be legislated, and a lot of people would have to vote on it.
Yeah, but if they did.
Martial law. Yeah, martial law,
I mean, like, we have a stop sign. It's unanimous. You know what I mean? You stop at the stop sign. That's, if they wanted to, just like Patriot Act, they could enforce. See, stop signs is one thing. I mean, you could fight that. But are you going to stop this?
Traffic laws facilitate the freedom of movement. And I think that's what people are most against right now, the freedom to move around. So I don't think that you should even call them stay-at-home orders anymore, because it just sounds like, hey, keep your ass.
Well, rebranding it, but it's still this. Look, buildings are closed. Like you can't go to, say,
you can't go to the park.
Yeah, you can't go to the park. So this is a weird thing. This is closing businesses and shit like that. So, like, do you want to give them that power just because it's like equivalent to a stop sign? Is it? I don't think it is.
I don't think we'd be, like I said, I don't think we'd be able to tell people to stay at home.
You know what? Fuck it. I don't even think you can enforce something like that.
But I think spacing and stuff like that, I think people would be willing to accept that on an emergency basis, case by case, if it's legislated,
I don't think people are willing to accept it because of what now. People can't even accept masks. And there's a scientific proof for that. But then I hear smart people say, I heard a stat that it doesn't work.
But see, how many people is that? Is it the majority of people? Is it a minority? Is it a plurality? How many people of the total and of the voting public, believes one way or another about either masks or social distancing or staying at home orders?
I go by the people I'm around. I'll tell you. That's a good metric because I'm around a lot of varied people. And the general consensus doesn't go with science. and I'm in a Republican state. So, I mean, it doesn't go with science, and everyone's got their own little go with the Democrats. They don't even understand the concept of the mask.
Well, see, I'm around a lot of Democrats, so I'm around a lot of people that see it the total different way.
So
that
they're
are
for masks.
yeah, they're for the masks. They're for staying at home.
I have people who are against masks, Republican.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know if it would get legislated one way or the other, because I mean, I only know who I'm around. You only know who you're around. We'd have to look at the numbers. We'd have to look at polls and shit like that.
That's tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, because within a state you could have different moods, and within the country you could have different moods. Shit, within San Diego County you could have different moods.
Fuck yeah, you're right. From what you said, right now, from the people I'm around, we're all dead.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not even a Democrat. I am not. I'm like anti-Democrat, but I'm also anti-Republican. But I have to say, who I'm around, and they're different people. Smart, stupid, mostly stupid. Republican. I'm not saying Republicans are stupid. I'm just saying I'm around stupid people, sheep. I'm around smart people. We're fucking dead, bro. We're dead.
There's all kinds, and you know, there's level of ignorance, and I'm not using ignorance in a bad way. It just depends on what your situation is. You know, if you got a lot of shit going on, you're not really paying attention to the news, and so you are ignorant of what's going on.
I know people who think they're smart and believe in Sasquatch.
That shit's real, dude.
You know, I just have to say, you know who doesn't believe in Sasquatch?
Sasquatch?
Black people. Like, it's always like elderly men or over, like men who don't fuck. Like this, you know, this, yeah.
That believe in Sasquatch?
You know who doesn't believe in Sasquatch? Mexicans.
No, we believe in chupacabras.
Yeah, fuck up. I'm just saying. All right, here we go. Let me all right, let's finish this out with are you good with COVID? You got anything?
Nah, man, I think we're good.
I think we really, man, dude.
Shit sandwich, but
man, dude, I was really having I heard these people talk about masks like it doesn't fucking work, and I got so fucking livid. And like I believe they should open the fucking thing, and if you don't want to wear a mask, don't. And I won't wear a mask, and we'll just all die. I'm good with that. But I understand the concept of the mask, and it makes sense, like vaccines, you know? The mask is protecting not only, you know, me, it's protecting you because you're wearing it, and I'm wearing it.
And it's not 100%.
Of course not. It's like condoms.
100%, so why are we wearing it?
I know.
Even if it's 5%, you should be wearing it.
That's why I don't sneeze in your face.
If we're looking at 100,000 people, that means you're saving 5,000 people's lives.
I know, fucking right.
Why are you arguing against that?
I agree. So, I'm with people being free. If they want to die because they're stupid, go for it. You want to live? All wear masks. Let's do it. I'm a rider of the wave. You know, the wave of people want to fucking not wear masks due to ignorance. Let's all die. You know, but if we all want to wear masks, I'm down. But let's move on.
You know, if they end up running around without masks on and getting everybody sick, including me, and I'm end up dying, I'll be in the hospital, be like, I fucking asked you guys to ask a mask.
I would have been like, that weak bitch. You didn't work out enough. You didn't take enough supplements. That motherfucker. While I was killing 80-year-olds for some fucking reason, ever dies. That'd be stupid.
Hey, do you want to hit pause on this recording so that we reset the timer on the next topic?
Oh, that's such a great idea. Hey, this is the end of part 2 with COVID-19, guys. Enjoy, you fucks.